Have you ever considered the difference between what we can measure and how we interpret it? It's one of the most important distinctions we can make, especially when talking about the origins of the universe.
If he were telling the truth, he wouldn't have told us.
Unless, of course, he knew you wouldn't believe the truth, even if he told us.
Astronomers have made incredible observations. We see galaxies whose light is redshifted. We detect the faint uniform glow of cosmic microwave background. We can measure the abundance of helium and hydrogen across the cosmos. These are real, repeatable, measurable facts. I'm not here to dispute those facts. If you made it past the intro, thank you. And if you want more informative videos like this, please make sure to follow for more. Where I take a different view is in the interpretation of those facts. Mainstream science interprets them under a specific assumption that the universe has always been governed solely by natural processes, no supernatural starting point. Under that assumption, they extrapolate backwards billions of years and conclude that the universe began in a hot, dense state and has been expanding ever since. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the universe didn't have to slowly grow up from nothing over eons? What if it was spoken into existence, fully formed? Just as scripture says, God created Adam as a man, not as a baby. God could have created the heavens and the earth in a mature state, already capable of sustaining life, already expanding, already displaying the light from distant galaxies. If a doctor had examined Adam on day one, they might have guessed his age to be 25 years based on muscle tone, bone density, and stature. But they'd be wrong. Not because their measurements were wrong, but because their assumption about his growth process was wrong. The same principle applies to the universe. Science can measure the redshift of galaxies. It can measure the temperature of the cosmic microwave background, but those measurements don't prove a specific timeline. They only prove a timeline if you assume that everything came about purely through natural processes over time. And that assumption is not a measurement. It's a philosophical choice. The mature creation view says, yes, the expansion of the universe is real. Yes, the CMB is real. Yes, the element abundances are real. But instead of being the leftovers of a long natural history, they could be part of the original design, the initial conditions spoken into being by God. This approach doesn't reject science. It simply recognizes that science, by definition, cannot detect supernatural acts. It can describe the current state of the universe. It can project the state backward in time under certain assumptions, but it cannot rule out the possibility that the Creator began it all in a state of maturity. And even if we grant their entire cosmological model, the real problem comes when scientists try to explain life itself. Their champion of abiogenesis, the idea that life can arise from non-life purely by natural means, has utterly failed to produce life in the lab from non-living chemicals. They can simulate atmospheres, zap molecules with electricity, and mix amino acids in warm pools, but they have never, not once, crossed the gap from chemistry to biology. In other words, the how of life remains as mysterious to materialism today as it was thousands of years ago. Life still testifies to a creator, and the Cambrian explosion, where dozens of new body plans appear suddenly in the fossil record without clear precursors, still defies Darwin's slow, gradual picture of evolution. As one Dutch botanist put it back in 1904, Darwinism may explain the survival of the fittest, but not the origin or arrival of the fittest. So if chemical evolution is a farce, if abiogenesis can't be reproduced in labs, and if the Cambrian explosion discredits Darwin's gradualism, why is it so far-fetched to believe that just as God created Adam as a fully mature adult, he also created the stars and the universe in a fully mature state as well? Don't be fooled by scientism. Their interpretation of the data is not the data. The facts of science don't belong to materialists. They belong to God. The data is the same, but only through the lens of scripture does the universe have meaning, purpose, and a creator. If you found this explanation helpful, please make sure to like, follow, and share. But until next time, the faceless prophet out.
If he were telling the truth, he wouldn't have told us.
Unless, of course, he knew you wouldn't believe the truth, even if he told us.